Today I'm going to cover different head positions in the handstand. So I'm going to cover your standard position. So first assessing where you look normally, then looking at changing the way you look on the floor, see how that affects your handstand. Changing to looking through, and then even up towards looking at the ceiling and looking at your toes. So first of all, we want to get an idea of what you do normally. So where do you normally look for your handstand? Now this can be done against the wall and it can be done freestanding, but first we want to assess your setup. So where do you look before you enter the handstand? And then while you're balancing, what does your eyesight do? Where do you look relative to your finger? So to do this, I'm going to use 3 Jenga blocks, but you could just use any markers. I'm first just going to put the blocks on my index finger first, because when I hands, I have my index finger facing forward. So I'm just going to place the blocks on my fingertips. So I'm going to start on that index finger, the other one on the other side. Then I'm going to kick up to handstand. So I'm going to look, where do I look before I kick? And for me, it's the same position. That's what I recommend you do as well. So have the same position when you go to kick up as when you are in the handstand as well. So I'm going to pick a point on the floor where I'm looking, and I'm going to place the 3rd Jenga block there. So I've got 3 Jenga blocks showing my index finger and my standard focal position. Now don't make any adjustments here. So the first bit is just assessment. It'll be interesting to see where yours is compared to mine, but it doesn't make them right or wrong. Now this is exactly the same if I do it up against the wall. So I do my assessment exactly the same. So where I normally kick up to, where I would heel pull to, and then I adjust just the blocks to make sure that my home position is correct. And then when I'm there, I can play with the different head positions, either in a freestanding handstand where I've heel pulled, so having a little bit of assistance if I need it off the wall, or I could do all the work with the heels lightly kissing the wall, so I'm making the head changes, but I'm trying to keep the weight against the wall exactly the same. I'm now going to challenge my position slightly. Now this might make it easier or harder to handstand. So I'm going to add a 4th block. So this one I'm going to put exactly the same distance from the fingers on the other side. If you have a straight line with your blocks, then I would just take it like a couple of inches in front. Then I'm going to go into the handstand again. I'm going to start in my standard position, but once I'm up and balancing, I'm going to then look at the other block and see how that affects the handstand. So I look in my standard position. I'm now going to look through to that other block, which is a bit more demanding on the neck, but I can still balance okay, and then I'm going to pull back again. So I'm going to go between these two. Now when I do this, I'm going to try and move my head, not just my eyes or my shoulders. So that's as far as I'm going to try in that direction. I'm now going to do the same thing, but on the opposite side. So I'm going to take that block that I put down, the same distance apart, but now on the way through. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to kick up to that first position, my standard handstand, and then I'm going to look over to the other block, and then back again. Again, I'm trying to move the head and the eyes and go between both. And again, that doesn't change things too much. So I'm using that standard position as a home position, and then I'm flirting or visiting the other positions and coming back again. I'm going as slow as I need to show control. Now, if you find you keep falling out, you could either grab a spotter or you could go up against the wall. I'm going to double the distance again one more time. There's a bigger change with the head now. For the next one, I'm going to get rid of the block completely. So I'm going to get rid of this one. Instead of looking at the block, I'm going to look in that direction. So I'm going to look away. So this would be the same as, instead of looking up at my hands or down at the floor, I'm going to look in that position. So like a neutral head position. So same thing, I'm going to kick up into my standard position, find control in the handstand, and then I'm going to look away. It's that neutral position. Now I've got a window I'm looking to, which makes it a little bit harder. The other way to do it is a bit easier, would be to have a fixed focal point, so to have a wall or something like a target to look at. And then I'm going to try and get back to my home position, show control, come back down again. Now I'm going to do exactly the same, but instead of looking away, I'm going to start to look up towards the ceiling and seeing if I can actually look at my toes. And normally when you try and look at your toes in this position, your feet will actually go over that way, so it'll be harder to see your feet because you tend to overbalance when you start to tuck the head. So what we're aiming for is to get into something like this position, as close as I can there. And a common thing that people will do is that. So they'll tend to pike the hips. So try and keep this as one segment and just try and move the head through. I'm going to do the same as before. I'm going to start my home position, my standard handstand line, show control, pass through that standard neutral position, look up towards the ceiling, I can just see my toes, come back down with control, find that home position, and back again. Now that's seen as the hardest position. Now obviously we could go in and out at different speeds and things, which again would make it harder, change body position, shapes and things, again would make it different, make it trickier, but that's seen as the hardest range of motion for the head. Now you could go through those same drills in tuck or in straddle or any other shape. Now what we all find with things like tuck is because mobility wise the tuck is very challenging, and it actually becomes easier for your mobility if I tuck my head. So in some ways you're making the tuck handstand a bit easier by allowing the head to move, but you're making it harder from a balance point of view because you're losing that focal point. So you could mix that up with tempo, so how fast you move your head. You could look at the standard home position, move into your straddle or your tuck and then move your head, or you could move your head while you move into the straddle or tuck or even before. Now this is exactly the same if I do it up against the wall. If I'm in tuck or straddle, I could do exactly the same and just have the butt lightly touching the wall. And you could work on bodyline position this way around. So I could go into my normal chest to wall position, maybe have your hands a little bit further away than you would do normally. So I'm there, and I'm trying to keep the line exactly the same as I look first at the wall and then try and look at my toes and then come back again. Now ideally when you do that, you'll be able to disengage the connection from the balance, from the pressure on the wall, and have the change in focal point not affect how much weight there is on the wall from the toes or from the other way around from the heels. You could do something in between. So I could go into the kick up first, have heels light on the wall. I could change my head position so I look away. Now I try and do my heel pull, so I pull off the wall using my fingertips with the head in position there. Come back again. I could do the same thing looking up. Heel pull off, hold, come back again. And again, you could play with the sequence there, so I could change the head position before or after or during the movement, both in straight and straddle and tuck or any other shape. Now I'd definitely include or play with some sort of head change in your training, but if you're not freestanding away from the wall yet, I would still prioritize that, working on your heel pulls, your toe pulls, and just focusing on the balance work first. Once you have that and you're more intermediate to advanced, I would definitely include some sort of head change positions, or at least assess and check that you can do it, because it does make your handstand position stronger and it does make your window of balance much stronger and bigger. So you could even do things like closing your eyes in a handstand. So get into that home position, you could close your eyes now. You could change the head position while you have your eyes closed, which affects you again differently. But I would definitely recommend that you at least try this. Again, especially if you're intermediate to advanced, this should be something you should be able to do. But it's something that I haven't really trained for reps and sets or put it into my programs, but I can definitely balance with my eyes closed. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions or thoughts on training the head position. Eyes open, eyes closed. Normal deal, thumbs up and subscribe, we appreciate it, and I'll speak to you next time. Thanks guys.